Hi there and welcome. In the previous video, we walked through a simplified purchasing example. In this video, I'd like to demonstrate for you how it's actually done. Alright, let's get started reviewing the application. Here we are as user A1, and here is where the purchase request was created. And let's pause here. Here are the state documents which dictate the process. We'll go into the first state of the process, $created. I'd like to draw your attention to this particular portion of the screen. This field dictates which roles apply to whom. As this is the first state in the process, anyone can create a document of this type. Here is where the IBM Notes forms are linked to how end users know the documents. Which version of the state documents is currently active? And lastly, which of these are to be created only indirectly as part of the overall workflow? Alright, let's speed it up to this point. And let's pause it here. The purchase request was in State Manager in our example, so let's go there now. The rules here are pertinent to users contained in the Workflow Document Field Manager, user orange in this case. The document is routed to whichever state the end user selects. As you can see here, the alias approved is presented to the user as opposed to process doc, which isn't so meaningful to an end user. Going back to the state documents, when a purchase request was created, this state document was activated and this routine was executed. Any text you put here corresponds to routines in a script library, which are executed when a document in this state is opened. This particular routine, #WASetUsersRole, sets who is who in our application when a purchase request is first created. You can of course reference your own routines here as you see fit. WASetUsersRole assigns users according to the information contained in the following documents: roles, as well as fields here. Let's now move on to where purchasing needs to create the purchase orders. Alright, let's pause here. In State Process Doc of Workflow Purchase Request, when the option Create PO was selected, the document was routed to state Create PO. If we were to look at that state, we see that this is a virtual state, meaning that its rules are executed immediately. In this particular case, that meant that the workflow document was routed directly back to State Process Doc. This allowed us to invoke the workflow motor without changing the document state and appearance. When user Blue selected rule number 3, a document of type purchase order was created and Workflow Ascendant selected the option to complete as if it were a user. Going over to purchase order state created, as you can see here, selecting to complete forwarded the workflow document to state complete doc. Moving on to the initialization of the purchase order, let's pause it here. Back to our state documents, state process doc in particular. This is the routine which initialized the newly created purchase order. I wanted to show you the code as it is so simple and straightforward, but I was told not to. Let's fast forward here to some of the controls. And pause it here. Let's go now to state process doc of workflow purchase request. Note that when rule number 3 was selected, the field block to be modified was set to 1. Later, when rule number 1 was selected, the routine block to be modified was invoked, which blocks the document from advancing and displays an error message if that field, which is named as the same as the routine, is set to 1. Very simply. This one's a bit easier. We'll go back to state document process doc in workflow purchase request. When the PO document was created, this control was set in the parent purchase request document. So if archived is selected while there are open POs, this error message is displayed. Alright, now we'll fast forward on to reception. We're not going to pause here, just try to remember the options you'll see on the screen. Now speeding it back up, back to purchasing. And pause. So in workflow purchase order, the active state is process doc. Remember that rules are applicable by constraint, what you see here in this box. So when a member of purchasing modified the workflow document in state process doc, only the options create invoice and archived were visible. Likewise, when reception intervened, only create delivery receipt was made available to that user. We're almost done. There's just one more explanation to go through. I would like to take a moment here to thank you all for watching this video. And let's slow it down here. And here we are in the invoice state documents. Here is where the document is controlled, just like we've seen already in the other cases. That's all there is to it. I'm just fast forwarding here to the end. We hope you found this video to be beneficial, and while representative of how Workflow Ascendant works, please understand that this represents only a small fraction of what it has to offer. If you found this video interesting, please consult some of the many other videos available on our website. Thanks again for watching.